Hey everybody, this is the Esoteric Cross. I make videos about how to gain your personal power while learning ancient secrets, and if that sounds like something that you're into, please hit the like button and subscribe and gain insight from this perspective in the cosmos. In this video, I wanted to talk more about Kabbalah, what it is, and its relationship to ceremonial magic, secret societies, and tarot. My goal was to make this video a great resource to run to as you're trying to understand the Tree of Life and its relationship to why you are working with it. We will talk about the way Kabbalah is used in different systems, and we'll have an overview of the 4 worlds of Kabbalah as well as the 10 Sefirot. Let's take it back a little bit and talk about the history. Kabbalah is an ancient form of Jewish mysticism, and it started to take off in the later half of the Middle Ages. The reason I say ancient is because the foundations of Kabbalah can be traced pretty far back. We can even see the Tree of Life in ancient Egypt, and also ancient Sumer has their own version of a Tree of Life. Some of the early texts about Kabbalah date back to the 1st century of the Common Era. You may hear some traditional Kabbalists say to not use this stuff for magic, but if you dig a little deeper, you will find that Kabbalah is definitely used in magic, mysticism, and to obtain gnosis since its roots. Also, the more that you dive into what magic truly is, you will realize that it's probably not what you thought. You will find that there are different ways that you can spell Kabbalah, and depending on the spelling, this will tell you what kind of Kabbalah that you're working with. When Kabbalah is spelled with a K, this means that we're talking about the more traditional Jewish mysticism. This is going to have a bit more of a religious tone. It will discuss most of the same things as other forms of Kabbalah, but it may be much less practical, and it will be more conceptual. It also may be a bit exclusive. When Kabbalah is spelled with a C, we're talking about the Christianized version of Kabbalah. This is where we're talking more about the Christian mysticism of the late Middle Ages. It's been said that this form of Kabbalah was used to try to convert Jews. When we're talking about Kabbalah with a Q, we're talking about the hybridization of Kabbalah with alchemy, pagan religions, Christianity, and other hermetic philosophies. I work with this form of Kabbalah because it has so much freedom involved, and it's not exclusive. It's very inclusive. I'm a huge fan of the hybridization of traditions, philosophies, and systems because you find out that cultures can be on separate ends of the world, but coming up with the same spiritual concepts. If you understand more than one and see how they fit together, you can connect these pieces together to gain a better view of the puzzle. For the remainder of this video, we will be talking about Kabbalah as it is spelled with a Q. After the Middle Ages, Kabbalah was blended with other forms of hermeticism and used in secret societies as this wisdom became occulted, which means concealed. We see aspects of Kabbalah being used in tarot, Freemasonry, and ceremonial magic. It's so obvious that many occultists have found the wisdom of Kabbalah to be deeply profound, so they used it within their own systems and used it to create their own systems. There's a special way of using Kabbalah, and this is within ceremonial magic. We use this Kabbalistic Tree of Life in a ritualistic way and use different aspects of the tree for healing purposes in order to bring about changes in our reality. This is what magic truly is. It's a way of effectively changing consciousness. We change the quality in which consciousness operates. Each sphere on this Tree of Life represents a different aspect of consciousness that you can work with, and this brings about a change within your consciousness and also a change in the external reality. There's a known axiom within occultism that states, as above, so below, as within, so without. One of the keys to the wisdom of Kabbalah is that we are made in the image of our Creator, and all of our consciousness is one, and all of our consciousness comes from the exact same source. What we do to ourselves, we do to other people, and we do to the universe. What we do to other people, and what we do to the universe, we do to ourselves. Integrating this concept into your daily life can radically alter your reality. In this way, you can see how karma really works. How the law of attraction really works. When you're nurturing, giving, and fostering a wonderful environment, you are doing all of those things internally simultaneously. How often have you noticed that when you clean your entire home spotless, that you feel mentally cleansed and possibly even recharged? This is the reason that magic works. This is why we do energy work. When you are using your consciousness and your awareness to focus on something with an intention, This creates the equal reaction in the external reality. You change yourself on the inside, and therefore the outside changes. Just as you change the outside environment, and your inside reality changes. Most of the time, we find ourselves around people and situations that correspond to our level of consciousness at the time. You change your consciousness, you change your circumstances. With all of that said, when we view this tree of life, we see these different aspects of our consciousness. But remember, if we are made in the image of our Creator, then these also represent aspects of God's consciousness or this universal consciousness. In Magick, we may want to work with a specific energy, for example, increasing our psychic awareness and intuition. Then we can work with this purple sphere, Yesod. We can work with the energy of this sphere. We can charge ourselves, we can charge an item, sigil, talisman. We can work with this color energy, and we're doing energy work. There are many ways to work with different spheres on the tree of life. When you work with the sphere with powerful intention, then you will see the shifts within your consciousness and the shifts in the external reality. That concept is at the true basis of what ceremonial magic truly is. The reason that we become ceremonial and ritualistic with it all is because the subconscious mind really likes ceremony. The subconscious does not communicate much with words. It's best impressed with symbolism. This is why we work with this in a very specific way in order to bring about specific results. Another way that Kabbalah is used is with tarot. In fact, it is used very heavily when it comes to tarot. These cards were created in the 1400s as a card game for the elite, and though it was not explicitly told that these cards have a connection with the Kabbalah, it's heavily implied. The structure of the deck is divided into two main parts. We have the Major Arcana and the Minor Arcana. There are 22 cards in the Major Arcana, and we can see the connection with Kabbalah as there are 22 paths along the Tree of Life. The Minor Arcana is divided into 4 suits, and we have 10 cards of each suit. We also have 4 court cards of each of the 4 suits. The 4 suits correspond to the 4 worlds of Kabbalah, and the 10 cards of each suit correspond to the 10 Sefirot of each world. The 4 court cards correspond to the 4 worlds as well, but they can represent the worlds within the worlds of Kabbalah. That can get a little confusing, but understanding this can really up-level your understanding of tarot and up-level your tarot readings. If you're interested, I do have a tarot course where I teach how to read the cards in relationship to Kabbalah, and you can check out the link in the description for more information if you're interested. Let's talk about what this Tree of Life truly represents. What is it, and why do we use it so heavily within all of these systems? The Tree of Life is a systematic way of showing how the light of God, the light of awareness, or source consciousness, filters down into the 3D physical reality. The top of the tree can be viewed as the roots of the tree, and the bottom is the fruit. What does fruit do? The fruit contains the seeds that create another tree. Since we are made in the image of our Creator, and we contain the divine essence of the Creator, we have this innate ability and desire to create. We go on to create our own realities. We create conversations, works of art, inventions, and structures. Everything that we create also contains the Tree of Life energies within it and goes on to make impressions on the world. It creates this ripple effect that ends up altering consciousness and leads to even more creation. The Kabbalistic Tree of Life is the process of creation, and it is the map of creation. It is the map of divinity. It is the map of you, the map of your soul. It is the map that shows how divinity materializes. It's the map that shows how we can reach back to divinity. One of the secrets is that this is very closely related to Eastern spirituality and philosophies, but in a much more analytical and left-brained way. Eastern spirituality teaches us a lot about presence, detachment, and awareness. The Tree of Life is showing us the map that leads us to our awareness. This is a much more practical way of going about this process for us in the Western world, where our lives are filled with so many tasks, responsibilities, and time constraints. Let's go ahead and dive into the 4 worlds of Kabbalah. The first world of Kabbalah is called Atziluth. The other name for this is the archetypal world, and this contains the first 3 Sefirot on the Tree of Life, we have the light of divinity, Kether, the wisdom, Hakma, and the understanding, Binah. It's important to note that we have 3 pillars along this tree of life. The left pillar is the feminine and is internal. The right pillar is masculine and is external. And the middle pillar is the harmonious union of these 2 energies. Kether is the divine source or union, and this light creates this external quality of wisdom, and then this wisdom becomes internalized as understanding. These 3 qualities create knowledge, which is represented by Da'ath. And this does not count as a Sephira, and this will be the bridge between the archetypal world and the creative world. The bottom line here is that the world of Atziluth represents desire and passion to create. It is the beginning of the process through wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. The second world of Kabbalah is called Bria. The other name for this is the creative world. Da'ath, or knowledge, is what essentially starts off this creative world. If there is knowledge, then creation can resume. The 3 spheres in this world will be a reflection of the one above it. But here we have a more creative vision for this creation. We have the external qualities of expansion, vision, and the world of possibilities with Chesed. This must be balanced with the internal qualities of restriction, boundaries, and the energy needed to fulfill the vision. That will be represented by Geburah. Together, the union of the 2 create Tiferet, and this represents the essence of the creation, and it represents the action, the will, and commitment to the creation. The third world of Kabbalah is Yetzirah. The other name for this is the formative world. We have left the world of creative possibilities, and now it's time to get practical. The 3 Sefirot in this world can be called the psychological triangle. We have the external quality, the application of emotions, passion, and vision, represented by Netzach. Then we have the internal quality, the study, the analytical aspects, and logic, represented by Had. When these 2 are in harmony, we see the effects reflected within Yesod, which represents the subconscious energies, intuition, and psychic awareness. It is through the combination of these 3 psychological aspects that the physical world is created. This is how your subconscious mind creates reality. The fourth world of Kabbalah is Asiya. The other name for this is the manifested world. This is the 3D physical reality. It is what is actually created from this whole process. The only Sephira in this world is Malkuth, and this is about the physicalities. This is the fruit of the tree of life, the fruit of the conscious labor, and it will contain the seeds that will go on to create even more. Let's quickly run through each of these Sephirot. The first sphere on the tree is Kether, and I already hinted that this represents the divine light, the source of consciousness. You can view this as the higher self, God, divinity, or the source of the universe. This is corresponded to the fixed stars, and this is what never changes. This energy is stable and has the ability to create anything. This represents the I am principle. The second sphere is Hakma, and this means wisdom. When a desire or idea comes out of the divine awareness of Kether, the infinite realm of possibilities, it's externalized here. Wisdom is an external quality because this is a quality that can be applied. This is corresponded to the zodiac and the angels of the Shem. These are really high and governing aspects of consciousness. The third sphere is Binah, and this means understanding. This is an internal quality, and it represents the wisdom becoming internalized, and this is the understanding of it. This internal understanding is like the psyche being pregnant with so many possibilities, which is why the great mother of creation can be associated with the Sephira. This is corresponding to Saturn, which is about our discipline, karma, and lessons. Binah represents the understanding of these qualities, and this leads us to knowledge. Da'ath is not a sphere on the tree of life, but rather the abyss. Da'ath means knowledge. All of the spheres on the tree create this knowledge of self, and from this abyss, all of the tree is birthed. It is the hidden Sephira of the tree of life. This represents detachment, the dissolution of self, the dissolution of the ego. It is through this detachment that we can experience these higher states of consciousness. The fourth sphere is Chesed, and this means mercy. This is the loving, giving energy that understands everything is cyclical. This mercy is an external quality because it's giving and expansive. This is corresponding to Jupiter, which is all about expanding. It's about success and gaining. This is where we have a clearer vision of the possibilities of the creation. The fifth sphere is Gebra, and this means severity. This is that internal quality of restriction, boundaries, and energy. This is about what is needed to actually bring this creation into being. This corresponds to Mars, which has that warlike quality. This can have to do with our ambition and what the destructive qualities are that ambition brings. This can represent our challenges and what needs to be overcome. This will ultimately change the face of the creation. Our limitless possibilities start to become limited. The sixth sphere is Tiferet, and this means beauty. This is where we begin to see some results. This is the essence of the creation and is the heart of the creation. When we overlay the tree of life on the body, Tiferet is at the center of our chest. This sphere is also associated with consciousness, the will, action, dedication, and commitment. It can also be associated with Christ consciousness in its higher aspects. This corresponds to the sun and is all about the shining, radiant light. The sun is the reflection of the central sun, which can be represented by Kether. Kether is the awareness of the universe that sees through everything in the universe, and Tiferet is the reflection of that, being the conscious awareness. The seventh sphere is Netzach, and this means victory. This is along the external pillar, showing that this will have to do with the application of these qualities. It represents our emotions, love, and passions. It also has to do with our vision for creation and the love for the creation and the process. This is a bit more psychological though compared to the spheres above it. This corresponds to Venus, which is about our love and nurturing energy. This is also another mothering archetype, which suggests that there is much happening with creation within the sphere. The eighth sphere is Hod, and this means splendor or glory. This is an internal quality and is a representation of all of the analytical aspects of self. This is about the mind and how it operates. This corresponds to Mercury, which is about thoughts, communication, and study. It is here that we get very practical about the process of the creation. What knowledge is needed? The ninth sphere is Yesod, and this means foundation. This is the foundation of creation. When the tree of life is overlaid on the body, we see that this Sephira is located at the pelvis, and this is because this is the foundation on which physical life is created. It represents our astral and subconscious energies, which makes sense as this corresponds to the moon. This has to do with our psychic awareness and our intuition. Each sphere along the middle pillar of this tree is kind of a reflection of the one above it. Kether is the pure awareness. Da'ath is the detached awareness. Tiferet is the conscious awareness. Yesod is the psychic awareness. And then Malkuth will be the physical awareness. That brings us to the 10th sphere, which is Malkuth, and this means kingdom. This is the kingdom of God. This is everything physical in the universe, and it contains all of the energies of the tree of life within it. Your physical body is Malkuth, and everything else along this tree are aspects of your psyche. This Sephira corresponds to Earth and the 4 elements. Earth is the vessel that houses all 4 elements, and these 4 elements are truly the microcosmic version of the 4 worlds of Kabbalah. These are the 4 corners of our personal self, and once we master these 4 elements and our own physical consciousness, we have a strong foundation to work through these higher energies to reach the awareness of divinity. You may also notice all of the paths that run between the spheres, and this would be too much to get into in this video, but I do plan to make a video soon that talks more about the paths. This tree can be viewed as something that we transcend, and also something that our higher self uses to descend, therefore create. Understanding this can definitely help aid you along your journey. I have exciting news that I just put together a 3-class course on the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. This class can act as a prerequisite for my other courses and will definitely be something that's very useful to you along your path, whether that is for ceremonial magic, a deeper understanding of tarot, or just gaining more esoteric knowledge. Check out the link in the description below to sign up for this live course and hang out and learn with us. I also offer a course in tarot and its relationship with the Kabbalistic tree of life, which is something that most courses in tarot don't offer. The link for that is also in the description. I do offer one-on-one coaching for ceremonial magic, so if you're just starting out your journey, feel free to set up a session with me. The link for that's also in the description below, as well as to where you can book a tarot reading with me. If you want access to exclusive content and live streams, the link for my Patreon is also in the description. And I hope that there was something new that you were able to take away from this video. If so, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe for more content. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.